Um, Linux is cool, but you probably never used it, right? So in this video, I will introduce you to Linux, what it is, what you can do, and etc.
What the hell's a Linux?
So Linux itself is only the kernel, one of the essential major components of the system, which interacts with the hardware and manages system resources. The system as a whole is basically the GNU system with just Linux added. When you're talking about this combination, it's more accurate to call it GNU Linux or GNU plus Linux, since it features stuff like core utilities, GNU library for C, the shell, and other needed libraries. What you might refer to Linux or Linux OS is a collection of distributions which contains stuff like LAMP, which is the Linux kernel, web servers like Apache or Nginx, CGI scripting like Perl, PHP, or Python, and a database like MySQL. Though it's not a core part of every distro, but the stack is commonly used for web development on Linux. The package manager like, let's say, apt, pacman, or snap, a GUI like a desktop environment like GNOME or KDE Plasma, and a browser like Firefox or Chromium or I know Chrome or Edge. I know. Yeah. The history of Linux starts basically a Finnish guy named Linus Torvalds in 1991 created a Unix-inspired kernel to make it free and open source, which gained a certain popularity and turned into a global community, making it more appealing for people due to Wine and Proton making programs and games work as if it's working natively. Basically, that it's meant for that system. Now, the big question, should you use Linux or should you not use Linux? That's the big question. Well, the pros is free, it's open source, being completely free with no licensing cost, many possibilities of customization, meaning you can install all the desktop environments you want and tinker with configs, even heck, tinker on the kernel, making it completely yours. Privacy focused, so no telemetry like Windows. It's pretty lightweight, so it's pretty amazing for older hardware. The cons are it has a pretty insanely steep learning curve. Not for everyone. A lot of people can't even deal with normal PCs already. So people struggling with Windows, yeah, no, it's not a thing. So don't forget that non-IT people probably can't use Linux at all, so don't shove anything down, okay? Um, Communities with sometimes a certain elitism, yeah, unstable or bad distros, and also depends on the games, but some games just don't work on Linux at all, like those who use kernel level anti-cheat. And as I mentioned, for non-tech users, a complete nightmare. Like, yeah, a lot of the distros, like let's say Ubuntu or Linux Mint or Pop! OS, the beginner-friendly ones, yeah, they usually don't expect you to use the terminal, but sometimes it's just sometimes you just have to. Like, it's a thing. Okay, so what to start with and what to consider. To start with the distros, you can just start with the mainstream ones like Ubuntu, Mint, Pop! OS, Fedora, or Zorin. Don't start with something Arch-based. You will experience distro hopping, meaning you will try one, go to the other, and maybe go back to the one you started with. Um, what I recommend doing before wiping your whole system is to try it on a virtual machine or on an older laptop. The desktop environments, which are really important since there are a ton of them, like come bundled with their programs, design scheme, and just overall look. Also very, very important because I've been seeing those on especially YouTube Shorts and on my YouTube starting page. Linux distros mimicking or trying to be like Windows, where I can just already say it's a scam. Don't get into the trap of making it like Windows, since Linux is its own thing. Um, you'll learn it, and you'll just learn a lot of it. So just accept that it's Linux, and that's it. Um, like if you have questions about a certain something, you just hit up the forum for distro. Like let's say Ubuntu, you just hit up Google Ubuntu forum and hit up a question. That's it. Or Reddit, or just Google the question right away. Don't hop on trends. What some people do, like art slash hyperland. It's hard and not beginner friendly at all. Like, just don't. If you see some certain YouTuber who tries Arch and Hyperland, or let's say Gentoo or NixOS, don't fall for it. Stay true to yourself and just stick to the beginner ones if you're a beginner. And yeah. Also, very important stuff to learn for real beginners, or well, for the real world of Linux usage. Like let's say basic Linux file system hierarchy, like the root, home, etc, var, user, and etc. These are very important. What they do, what their purpose is, it's very important. Command line basics like ls, cd, cat, grep, find, chmod, chown, what they do, what they can do. Also very important concepts of piping and redirection. So redirection sends an input or output to or from files instead of the keyboard or screen. Piping connects the output of one comment directly to the input of another comment. So basically both are ways to control and manage data flow between comments and lines in Linux. Also important are user permission management, package management, shell and scripting basics, knowing the different shells like ZSH, fish, bash, network basics, knowing what an SSH is, pinging, ifconfig, just basically how you connect to the internet, how you check something with your internet, and the whole shebang. And obviously resources for learning and support, like I said, forums, Reddit, and Google. Um, Also a small trick to do. So yeah, those are sort of my takes on Linux. I've been using it for quite a while. I'm currently on OpenSUSE Linux Tumbleweed, which is honestly quite nice. Would I say beginner friendly? Not really. But honestly, it's quite nice, I gotta say. And yeah, I hope you found this video quite helpful, and yeah, have a good one.